Worst nail removal methods I've ever seen: using dental floss, snapping them off, biting them off, using a metal card, a tip, a knife, or a rock. And this is what happens when you try to shortcut the process. Damaged nails are thin and sensitive to everything, and the worst part, you won't be able to do extensions or overlay because they simply won't last. I'll show you two different ways on how to safely remove acrylic nails, and the first method is perfect for home use because it doesn't require any special equipment. This acrylic set is about 4 weeks old, and the first thing we need to do to speed up the removal process is to clip off the free edge. And the easiest way to do it at home is to use regular clippers. Be careful though, because these parts may fly really far, so please protect your eyes and other body parts because accidents happen sometimes. Then we need to remove the glossy top coat or the color if you have it on top, because most times with acrylic nails we use glossy gel top coats, and this product, unlike acrylic, is not soak off, so the only way to remove it is to file it off. And it's better to use a harsh abrasive such as 80 or 100 grit. The file I'm using is 80 grit, which is perfect for it. Once you start filing off the top coat, the goal is not just to scratch the entire surface with the file, but to actually remove it. You will see the difference. It actually feels slightly different from when you file all the way down to acrylic. It's like much easier and lighter to file, so make sure you remove it all. I've seen it so many times when nail technicians remove glossy gel top coat from the center of the nail, but they leave these areas near the cuticle, along the sidewalls, and then they try to soak them off, and it's not working because there's still gel remaining. So make sure you file it off of the entire surface. Take a look at the sidewalls and the cuticle area. You're not supposed to see any shiny parts at all. If you have color gel polish on your nails, it's not necessary to file it all off either, but it will speed up the process. So if you feel like it, I recommend you doing it as well. Next step is soak off. We will need some cotton, and I recommend you to cut it into pieces that are super close to the size of your nails because we don't really need some extra. And then you will need a regular kitchen foil. I recommend to use the one that is thinner and softer because the thick one may not feel very comfortable with your hands, and we are going to use a regular acetone. There are also special removers, and usually they're acetone based, so cosmetic acetone is usually your best choice. If you have normal or dry skin, I recommend you to use cream before doing this. Apply it around your nails first on the cuticles. I know that some people use cuticle oil for this, but I really prefer creams. You know, that kind of really creamy cream, not the lotion one. With this client, we did not use it because her skin is a bit oily, so there's really no need to do that, but using cream will prevent your skin from over drying. Then we wrap them as a candy. Make sure that you wrap it really well, and then we need to have some patience and wait. Time really depends on the amount of the product that you have. Sometimes 10 to 15 minutes may be enough, but most of the times for extensions you will need at least 20 minutes. So keep in mind, do not do this when you're in a rush. Let's say you have 10 minutes and then you need to go somewhere. Really take your time, turn on your favorite show or movie, maybe my YouTube channel, and just sit down and relax because you really need to wait while they're soaking off. Heat is really going to help, so you can use a regular towel and wrap both of your hands. After the time is up, unwrap only one finger. Do not rush to do it to all of them. And then using orange wood stick, we carefully remove the product. If you see that only the upper layers were removed, but everything else is still hard, you can take this harsh abrasive file off the soft part of the product on top and do it all over again, like wrap them again, and this way you will safely remove the excess product. If there's a tiny amount of product remaining, just a little bit, then you can also file it off. Usually if you did everything right, if you really remove the top coat and waited long enough, one time will be enough. If you have a really thick amount of product on your nails, which happens, then you will definitely need at least 2 sessions. It will simply not be enough to do it all in just one take, which means you need to wrap it all, wait, then use this harsh file again, remove the soft part from the top, wrap it again, and wait. So it's totally fine. Like I told you, this is not a fast process, but it is absolutely a safe process. I do not recommend using the special metallic tools or metallic pushers because after your nail plate is soaked, it's more soft and vulnerable. So it is better to use an orange wood stick, and even when you do and you're scraping off the remaining product, do not press into your nail too hard because this is the moment when we can also damage it. Just gently remove. If you need to apply quite a force to remove the product, that means it's not soaked off yet and you need to repeat the process. Once you unwrap the nail and we expose this soaked off acrylic to the air, it is going to harden back. That's why I do only one nail at a time. Do not unwrap them all together. And if you want to do the second round, then you need to add the acetone, wrap it again, and proceed to the next nail. If you did everything correctly, then we will have healthy, natural nails if they were not damaged before. I recommend filing the free edge short, but not like super short. It's better to leave a little bit of the free edge so it will feel more comfortable. And then we can nourish the cuticles with cuticle oil. We can apply a regular nail polish if you wish. And this is what nails look like after product removal. Let's do a different one, a pro version of acrylic removal. This is usually the one that I use because, like I told you, I'm not super patient, and when you're working with clients, it's definitely more efficient because when you're by yourself, I really don't mind putting up my favorite show, just sitting and soaking there, but with a client, the time is really limited. That's why using electric nail file to remove the product for me is just way faster. First, I file off the free edge, or you can use tip cutter as well, and then I file off the product from the top. Since acrylic is the hardest product of them all compared to hard gel or polygel, it's better to use carbide beads with coarse or medium coarse abrasive. I definitely do not recommend using fine or medium fine carbide beads with acrylic because that way it's going to take you too long to remove them and you will have more frictions, hence more heat and uncomfortable feelings when you're filing off the product. Also, I love filing off methods for all of the products, including acrylic, which could be soaked off. But when you file it off, you always can leave this thin layer of the product and we don't need to remove it all the way to the natural nail. Unlike with soak off method, when you cannot really stop this process, we cannot leave this thin layer because there's definitely some solvents, the acetone, which already penetrated through the product and the adhesion is already broken. But with filing off method, it's not going to happen because we can control the amount that we remove. So usually I always leave a very thin, transparent layer of the product so later you can naturally grow them off. Then you file and shorten your nails whenever you need to, and this way we will not even touch the natural nail. However, this method may not work if you have some product lifting, if you have some discoloration, so in some cases we still need to remove it all the way down to the natural nail. I call this method pro or salon method because you need to be confident when working with electric nail file. If you are trying to do this at home, please be careful. You need to understand where's your nail and where's the product, and when we're using carbide beads or ceramic beads, we're only allowed to touch the product with this bead. So make sure you're not filing your natural nail too, because if you do, then we're going to make them thinner and they're going to be damaged. As you get closer to the nail, if you're not sure, if you don't have that much experience yet, then you can switch to the hand file, let's say 180 grit. But usually if you look closer, you will see the difference. Natural nail plate has these little ridges and the product looks more smooth. Also, as you're filing closer to the natural nail plate, plate, make sure that you are not staying in one spot for too long because it may cause heat spikes. Make sure that you move from one side to the other, that you're always changing the place where you're filing. On this nail, we have plenty of product lifting, so we definitely need to file it all down. So I recommend you to not rush into the areas that are lifting. Simply make sure that you remove the entire product, like you're working layer by layer, making it thinner and thinner. When you're filing off the free edge, make sure that you're holding the nail. You can turn the speed up almost to a max, 30 to 35 rotations per minute. When filing off the product, it really depends on your e-file, on the drill bit that you're using, but also I recommend to use a high speed, which is about 25 to 30,000 rotations per minute. And besides these two methods, home use and salon use, there's also a combination of them both. Let's say you know how to deal with electric nail file, but you're not that confident yet. So what you can do is to file off the free edge, file off the product on top, and file it almost all the way down until you see this thin layer of the product, and then do this soak off method. In this case, it is going to soak off pretty fast, usually within 5, max 10 minutes. And this way you will know that you did not touch the natural nail with a carbide bit, you didn't damage it, and your nails will be removed properly. After removal with electric nail file, we need to do the same, nourish the cuticles with cuticle oil. If you wish to apply regular nail polish, then you need to do it first, because after oil, it's not a good idea to apply anything like that. Which method do you usually use to remove your acrylic nails? Filing off, soaking off, or a combination of both? Let me know in the comments.